When it comes down to it, there's only really two types of trust: a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust. There's lots of different types of irrevocable trust, but today we're going to talk about the top 3 reasons why you need an irrevocable trust. So let's get into it. All right, top 3 reasons why you need an irrevocable trust. All right, so just as a quick reminder, a revocable trust is primarily used to avoid probate. So you're going to change nature of legal ownership from you as an individual to the revocable trust. The idea is the assets in a trust name avoid probate. The revocable trust is really flexible. You can revoke it, amend it, restate it, make updates to it as necessary. You, the person setting it up, can do all that. All right, so the 3 reasons that you might need an irrevocable trust. All right, so number 1 is asset protection. So maybe you need to protect assets from types of personal creditor claims, maybe a divorcing spouse. So you're going to move assets into an irrevocable trust. Most of the time when you hear about an irrevocable trust, the setup there is really that, say, parents are moving assets into an irrevocable trust for the benefit of kids. So it's what's called a third-party settled trust. So any of those assets go into the trust rather to the children in this situation. Therefore, they don't have assets in their personal name. If there's maybe a personal creditor claim or divorce down the line, then the idea is those assets are going to be protected because they're in the name of an irrevocable trust. Now, the irrevocable trust, it's not as flexible as the revocable living trust or the revocable trust or the living trust. It's called different things. But there is still a lot of flexibility there. That's not what this video is about, but there are videos that we have that discuss that. So again, idea is asset protection, protected from any type of creditor claims. The second thing is really estate tax planning. So a lot of people know that there is an estate tax, or maybe they call it a death tax, and it's really a tax that is assessed over your lifetime. So it gets paid once you pass away, but they look at different gifts that you make. They look at gifts that you make throughout your lifetime, as well as upon the transfer of assets upon your death, to assess whether or not you owe an estate tax. So each year it's a little different. I'll talk about 2025 since we're rolling into that year. But in 2025, you're able to pass up to $13.99 million in assets free of any estate tax before the estate tax gets assessed. So that 13.99 up to that $13.99 million threshold is what's known as your estate tax exemption. Anything up to that is exempt from estate tax. Anything over it is subject to estate tax. So the irrevocable trust comes into play because often, say, parents will gift assets into that trust. They claim it as part of their exemption amount. They use up that amount. And then any appreciation that happens in it is going to be free from the estate tax. So if they put $1 million in that trust during their lifetimes, they use $1 million of their exemption amount. But let's just say that it accumulates to 2 to 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus $1 million. Then they're not going to be on the hook for that appreciation, just for that initial gift that they made into the trust. All right. So asset protection, estate tax strategies. Number 3, all right, so is something interesting and something you don't hear a lot talked about, but it's really, and you can probably call it a few different things, but I'm going to call it family governance, right? So a lot of times parents have accumulated wealth over their lifetime. Maybe it is in a brokerage account, cash accounts. It could be art and antiques, different type crypto, different types of assets. It could also be an operating business. So in trust, an irrevocable trust in particular, is the parent's opportunity to craft a document that really lays out how things are going to be done moving forward. So it's the parent's opportunity to basically create the bylaws, the laws of the family that subsequent generations have to adhere to, whether it's running that family business that's inside a trust, or the securities, the brokerage account, the cash accounts, antiques, etc. It can be very flexible, or it can be pretty tight on how that's going to be run. And then, of course, you can structure it in a way that maybe you have different people managing different aspects of the trust. Again, we have videos about that. So check those out if you want to learn more about what we call a directed trust. But the three things that it really comes down to is when you want to use an irrevocable trust is asset protection, estate tax planning, and family governance. The three things that often get overlooked in the estate planning process.